The film begins with Nancy, who is taking a pregnancy test. When the results appear, she gets upset, throws the test away, and gets into her car feeling frustrated. She meets her friend Mary, and when Mary sees the test box, she asks, "What's this doing here?" Nancy tells her she's pregnant. Mary looks at the cigarette in her hand and says, "Wait, let me finish this so I can process what you're saying." When she asks, "So who's the father then?" Nancy laughs and replies, "I have no idea. I'm suspecting two guys." She adds, "I can't let this happen. If my dad finds out, he'll kill me. You know he can't do without me at the restaurant." Mary jokes with her, saying, "Well, congratulations. Let it grow up in your prosperity and your dad's." Nancy, who is a total mess, is changing her clothes in the car as if it's the most normal thing in the world. However, while she was halfway to the restaurant, her car broke down, and she had to get out and continue on foot. Just before she got close to the restaurant, she saw Bobby and asked him to give her a ride. Bobby worked at her father's restaurant, but the guy was really into her, and she didn't pay any attention to him. When she entered to see her father, he gave her a couple of scolding words, catching her off guard because she was late. He said, "Aren't you the manager here? You should be the first one here to see who arrived early and who was late." She apologized and explained that her mother's car had finally broken down on her way there, and this wasn't the first time it happened. She was close to begging him to have pity on her. But her father was a bit tough, and the man wasn't interested in hearing her excuses. He was still saying it was time for her to pull herself together and get to work. Then he told her that she wouldn't need any cars today. She was going to stay late because he had some errands to run. She got upset and told him that she wanted to attend a party with her friend, but he refused and told her to toughen up and take responsibility. She knows she's going to sit with Jack. She gets more and more upset and tells him no. "Let Bobby sit with me instead." Jack tells her that he's been with us for a long time and he won't pay him for sitting with her. But if Bobby sits with her, he'll pay him. "I don't have money for anyone." She leaves feeling upset, and when she sees the food, she feels sick and quickly runs to the bathroom but finds it occupied. She goes outside and sees Jack smoking a cigarette and asking her what she ate in the morning or what she did. She replies, "What's wrong with you?" He jokingly says, "Don't tell me you're pregnant, damn it." Her father asks Jack what she's doing here. Jack replies it's her fault for letting the spoiled meat go to waste. Before Jack leaves, he wishes Nancy a lovely date. Nancy is shocked and enters upset, and her father tells Jack he hopes he's happy now. "Did you apologize?" Jack says he didn't know, and he stands by himself taking his medicine. Meanwhile, Bobby's trying to be nice to Nancy, but she's ignoring him. Jack comes in and asks her why she isn't covering herself up. "I did my homework with you, and you really believe your tongue wants to be pulled and cleaned because of Zafar." She told him to manage himself because she was at her limit. "I actually don't even know how I'm going to sit with you alone at night." After a while, she was calculating some things and heard a group of noisy teenage boys on motorcycles making a ruckus. So she went out and told them to get themselves together and leave in front of the restaurant. They continued to mock her and threw a dead chicken at her. She ignored them and went back into the restaurant. She almost slipped on something spilled on the floor and went in to tell Bait to clean it up. Bait was one of the overly kind Mongolian people, but Jack didn't like her way with Bait's brother, and he told her to speak to his brother better than that. She turned around and saw the guys who were outside sitting there wearing masks, and he told her that he tried to make them leave, but they were determined to stay. So she went to them and told them to go outside. They kept bothering her and mocking her, so she told them she would call the police, and she actually went and called them. She tells them that the police are on their way here, so they should leave smoothly instead of having the police drag them by their collars. They actually get scared and stand up, but one of them says to her, "Just remember what you did. We will come back to you, and we won't let this go." After they leave, Jack discovers that she was only pretending and hadn't called the police or anything. She gathers everyone in the kitchen for an emergency meeting and says, "I know I'm younger than you all, but that doesn't stop me from being the manager here, and what I say will be carried out." They all listened and remained silent, but Jack laughed and said to her, "Did you forget yourself or what? You're a manager because of your father's restaurant, but I've been working here long before you, so cut out the attitude and the airs. We're all one here, from the same country." She told him to stop bothering her and not to continue, but he doesn't stop, so she tells him that she's had enough of him. He replied, "So what are you going to do?" "I don't understand." She said, "I'm firing you. You're fired, and I don't want to see your face again." Did he clash with her? He thought she was joking and said, "My dear, I'm the boss here. My mom worked here before me, when your dad employed me in my house before you came here." But she repeated the words again and confirmed them, telling him to leave the restaurant immediately. He told her, feeling shaky and nervous, that he would wait for my house. She said to him to go wait outside, Not here, and she entered the bathroom feeling upset. When Booby went to check on her, she got angry with him. So he told her that he could stay with her at night instead of Jack. But she refused and said that she wanted to be alone. He was still telling her that he didn't want money in return. She got even more upset with him and told him in front of everyone that she didn't want him beside her. "Forget about being with me. You are just a friend and an employee of mine." Honestly, she was really embarrassing him. And the man left her and walked away. She went outside, moved away from the dead chicken, and he saw Jack. He feels very sorry for himself. When the first shift ended, they all started to leave. When she tried to talk to Bobby, he didn't respond to her and left her alone. She sat by herself at night and called her father to tell him what happened with Jack, and it bothered her, of course, that she had kicked him out. He told her that he would take care of it, and when he felt she was upset, he told her that he loved her mother, but she had passed away a long time ago. He wanted her to know that he was a person with feelings and emotions, and he ended the call, knowing she was still upset. Nancy played loud music. She danced, but got tired and felt nauseous. After a while, she heard a loud knock, and she got scared. She moved closer to the window and was shocked when she saw the motorcycles and realized that the guys had come back to her as they had threatened. So she turned on the microphone and said that she had called the police and that they were on their way. But suddenly she found them banging on the restaurant from all sides, and she got more and more terrified. When she saw the back door was open, she ran quickly and shut it. After that, she called the police again and reported it for real this time. When the police officer arrived, she told him to stay on the line with her. She found out they had cut the wire, and the call was disconnected. They turned on their motorbikes and kept terrifying her. She saw one of them through the glass of the door, and her heart was racing. They had left her the dead chicken in the storage room. She ran in fear, hiding and stashing a knife in her clothes. They also cut off the electricity, putting her in complete terror. She kept searching for her phone but couldn't find it. She only heard the sound of a police car and quickly opened the door for the officer as he entered and turned on the light normally. He told her that nobody was outside and kept checking around the restaurant, but still didn't find anyone. When he went out to look in the storage room next to the restaurant, he found it locked from the outside with no entry points at all. He returned to sit with her, saying he would stay for a while until she felt safe. However, she felt his gaze was off, so she told him, "Control your eyes. It's inappropriate for your age. Are you here to help me or just to stare?" He replied that he had been sitting there for a quarter of an hour and nothing had happened. She then told him she wasn't crazy. He tells her about the young people and what they did in the morning. As soon as he hears that they are wearing masks and riding motorcycles, he takes it from her hands and tells her that she must go with him to the station immediately. He says that they have been looking for these young people for a while and that they are suspected of heinous murder crimes. Suddenly they appear, and one of them comes from behind the officer and takes him out. Nancy runs to the storage room and locks herself in, but she finds Bobby entering the restaurant, so she quickly goes out and takes him inside. She grabs his phone and calls her father, but he was busy and visibly stressed. When she hears the door opening, they hide in another spot. Unfortunately, they manage to catch them, and one of them takes Nancy to the kitchen. However, she manages to free her hands, kicks him in the leg, and rushes outside, where she sees one of them standing far away, still turning around. She spots another one and hits him, but the surprise is that it turns out to be her poor husband, and she was confused about what was happening. The big disaster happens when she finds that all the employees working with her in the restaurant are outside pretending to pull a prank. She remembers when she fired Jack from the restaurant, and he was begging her at that moment, saying he needed the job. But she had already made her decision. At that time, Jack left angrily, realizing that his treatment was about to finish, and he didn't know where to get money from. When Petty finished his work, he picked him up, and while they were on the way, they saw the guys who had bothered Nancy. One of them was drunk and in really bad shape, and he told them he had been fired. They started arguing, and Jack hit one of them, killing him. He also threatened his friends and urged Petty to kill one of them while he finished off the other two and took their masks and motorcycles. But Petty was shocked by what happened. Jack got out and told him to wait for him in front of the restaurant. Then he went to his friend Bobby and told him he had a great idea. "We're going to scare Nancy a little." Bobby didn't agree and was worried about her, but he convinces him that it's all a joke, and they go to the restaurant. They see her inside, and when he sees them, he knocks on Nancy's door to warn her about them. He didn't want to get involved in what they were doing. When the police officer arrives, they hide in the storage room, and of course, Jack had the key. When he saw the officer taking Nancy outside, Jack feared he would get caught and decided to take care of the officer. Meanwhile, Bobby saw Nancy terrified, which made him feel sorry for her. He took off the mask and pretended to come to reassure her. When Jack realized that he was feeling empathy, They both entered and tied them up along with his friend. But Jack intended to do all of this to take revenge on Nancy, and we find out that the one Nancy hit was Jack. Now let's go back to that moment when he brought him into my place inside the restaurant, and Nancy was outside in shock. Jack tells the third guy with him to go look for Nancy and suspects that Bobby will lead them into trouble. He asks if he is with them or against them, and then Bobby hits him with the keys, and Nancy is sneezing and turning red with the fries. When she goes outside, she finds Bobby falling to the ground, struggling, and throwing her the keys so she can escape. At the same time, Mary's friend Nancy goes to the restaurant, and when she sees what happened, she quickly leaves again, and Nancy runs fast to make Jack chase her. This means to save her friend. She hides from Jack, manages to hit him, and runs. But before she escapes, he hits her and pulls her back inside the restaurant, and he stabs her. After that, he gathers himself and runs away from the restaurant. On his way, he calls the police and tells them he went back to the restaurant and found everyone dead, begging them to help quickly. Nancy is struggling, then gets up, and it turns out she wrapped the spoiled meat around her stomach with stretch film. But that doesn't stop her from having been stabbed in the back. She goes to Bobby after he is dead and confesses to him that he is the father of the baby in her womb. She tells him that at that time they were both drunk. Then she takes the keys, walks out, goes to Jack's house, and finishes him off. After everything that happened, she leaves but falls to the ground, unable to continue. Her father passes by, sees her, and rushes down in shock. She tells him to hurry, that his grandchild is here. This brings us to the end of the movie. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comments.